Hi guys, Olivia here and welcome back to my channel. So we are entering the season of colds and viruses, and so it's time to look at the old age question of should you run, exercise when you have a cold. I know loads of people that run with colds. I know people who don't, and I personally don't run when I have kind of in the throes of a cold. Kind of if I kind of do get that sense of getting a cold, I do do go for a run because I feel I want to go now before it hits me. But I personally, in the throes of a cold, don't go for a run. I might go for a walk. That's about it. But I don't tend to do anything strenuous, and I don't run. I think that kind of stems from the fact that I had childhood asthma. So I always worry about things going into my chest, and I do find that if I have a cold, then it does kind of then leave me with a cough. So that's why I don't run. And I also am quite happy to take begrudgingly and happily take a few days rest, as I just feel that if I go for a run when I have a cold, that I'm then prolonging my recovery period, and then I'm going to have more days off if I do run. But that's all my personal opinion. I have done a little bit of research that's out there about running and colds, just to give you a little idea of the science that's out there and kind of the rules kind of that govern whether or not you should or should not run with a cold. And it's up to you to make your opinion. And of course, everyone's different. Every cold is different. So kind of funny enough, this can sound really weird, but be really interesting if anyone else has heard this saying. But I was always told by my mum that a cold kind of lasts for 9 days. It takes 3 days to come, 3 days to stay, and 3 days to go. So you kind of feel like you're getting a cold for good few days before you actually get a full blown cold. Then it kind of hangs around for 3 days, and then it slowly starts to go after those 3 days. I find that kind of fits in. And so if you do start feeling like a cold, you can start boosting yourself, vitamin C, echinacea, all sorts, eating healthy, adding a bit of chocolate in there to kind of diminish the cold. But I always find that sometimes you don't get the 3 days warning and it hits you, and that's the worst kind of cold. That's the worst cold that just doesn't have a build up and just hits you. But anyway, getting back to the kind of a bit of science that I've kind of looked around to, all about running with a cold. So the first point really is to make is when when you're suffering a cold, your body is fighting an infection. So all your white blood cells are going to help fight that foreign intruder that has entered your body. So your body, basically, your system needs more energy in order to help fight that infection. So when you are fighting an infection, your performance will diminish. You'll find kind of your normal workout much harder, and also the fitness benefits that you will get from your run will be less than optimal. So what you could take from that is that by running, your fitness benefit from running is not going to be optimal. So it's the age-old question again is, yes, you are going to go for a run, but the benefits of the run is not going to be that great. So do you run? Do you not run? And missing a few days of training, is that a bad thing? That could be seen as a good thing. Good chance to give yourself an extra rest, reboot, give your body time to fight the infection, and just take it easy for a few days. If you're the type of person that can do that, of course. But actually, on the flip side, if you are happy to run, that sometimes physical exercise actually helps you feel better. Because it's getting the blood flow going. It can help clear stuffy nose. It kind of can help clear your head, and kind of just giving that vitamin D, if you're outside, boost. So if you're happy to run with a cold, then actually there is some scientific evidence out there that physical exercise will help you feel better when you have a cold. So, and also perhaps if you are running with a cold, then perhaps, don't do any, long runs, don't do any hill reps, don't do any speed workouts. Just keep it nice and easy, low heart rate, conversational pace, nice, easy, short, plod. Then it will benefit you if you don't want to take your rest days. Then we have the question, I think that every runner knows or has been told. It's the neck check with your cold. So basically, if the symptoms are above the neck, so you've got a runny nose, you're sniffy, or you're sneezing, then technically that is safe to run because it's above the neck. So that is safe to do so, safe to run if you want to. Kind of the evidence out there suggests that you should start at half speed for first 10 minutes. Start at half speed, and then if you feel better after 10 minutes, then you can start increasing your pace to your normal conversational pace. So start off super slow and you feel good for 10 minutes, then you can kind of increase your normal pace. It doesn't really say what happens if you don't feel good, but I'm guessing if you don't feel good after 10 minutes, either stop and go home, take it down to a walk, or just keep it a nice easy pace and then reassess later on in your run. But then if your symptoms are below the neck, so you have a hacking cough, you have muscles aches, you're weak, you're dehydrated, then they do say it's best not to run. Because then you can risk worsening your symptoms when everything is on your chest. And plus, I think we would all know that if we had a hacking cough, maybe wheezing slightly, then of course running is not a great idea because we're asking our lungs to work hard because we're exercising, but then, they're going to struggle because of that coughing mechanism. It then does say that it's good to assume exercise when the below the neck symptoms have subsided. So, whether you have taken a few rest days off with your cold, or you have run, a couple of times, nice and easy pace, then it's what to do when your cold has subsided and how to get back to fully your normal self again. So the science does say to ease back into activity. So the science out there does say that to ease back into activity slowly. So a gradual build up into your normal weekly kind of exercise running regime. It kind of says that you should exercise for 2 days at a lower intensity for each day you were sick. So for instance, if you had 4 days of that cold, then you would have 8 days of easy intensity work. Of course, this is science. Everyone's different, so you might feel that you just take it easy for 2 or 3 sessions, and then you can start picking up the pace again. But the number one thing you can do is to listen to your body. And that can go a long way in how you manage running with a cold or taking it easy. And also when you are getting back to your full running intensity, distance weeks, then again, listening to your body will just help you get back to that place sooner, and also with no problems at all. So there we have it. That is a little bit of a roundup of whether you should or shouldn't run with a cold, and if you do run, what you should do. So please let me know in the comments below whether you find that you mostly can run with a cold, or whether you are like me and begrudgingly take a few days rest. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject. It's a big subject, and as I say, that every cold is different, every person is different. The cold might hit you when you're in a recovery phase anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But sometimes a cold can hit you when you're in your peak phase and you've been running really well, and it hits you and you're like, oh. But it's totally up to you whether you run or whether you don't run with the cold. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and whatever you do, #KillingIt.